Hello guys, Wahoo here, back with another video. This time around we are doing dragons and more dragons and more dragons. I'm basically categorizing or guiding you through every single dragon there is in Trove. So if you watched this video or if you watched one of these videos before, the intro is going to be the same for each and every single video. I'm going to use the same one for each one so I can explain to the people that do click a random one and not just the first one that you know, this is the same, and kind of explaining how it goes. So if you've seen this intro, you can click ahead. In the description there is links to a bunch of stuff, but also to timestamps so you can get to whatever dragon you are looking for if you just want to skip ahead. But if you haven't watched this intro, I suggest you do so. There's not going to be a lot of talking or a lot of entering into this, but there is a little bit explaining why I didn't put all the dragons into the same video. It's because that over time Trove introduces new dragons, and those dragons, if I make one big video, I can't put all those, so I have to make a different one. So I decided that I wanted to do at least 3 dragons in a video, maybe more, up to like 7 or something, like some that made sense to put together. So some of the videos are a little bit longer than others, some are a little bit shorter, but they are categorizing all of them. So when they introduce new dragons, as they did not too recently, they introduced 3 new dragons. Those 3 new dragons, you know, is just gonna end up in the playlist that is on the channel. So it's just, you know, go through all of them as it is. It is says in the title which ones is what, and also in the description, of course, so you can kind of figure out which dragons you are looking for. So that's basically the intro, so there's not really much more to say. That was just explaining why I did it like I did it, and not in one big video, as that there's a lot of dragons out there. And yeah, so that was the intro. Now we can start going into the dragons. Enjoy. Alright, so the first dragon we got is also the easiest. Alright guys, Editor Wahoo right here. I gotta pause the video real quick because I actually go into talking about you can only get 1 fragment at a time. That is not true. I've been doing some more testing and I've seen drops of up to 3. That is in U10. I've seen it also drop from the old Kandorian dragon, but I've also seen it from the random enemies that are just in the area. So anything I do say on, you know, going forward, just keep in mind that you can drop more than 1 fragment. And you can also get it from the old Kandorian dragon, from its lair as well, also from the random ones that are just on the ground. So anything you see in there that seems like a boss, defeat all the bosses that are there, because they do have a chance, all of them, to drop it. So it's not only from the dungeons, as I say, going forward. So just keep this in mind when you are, you know, thinking about it, or you're listening in or watching. Just keep in mind that when I say it can only drop 1 fragment and it's only from the dungeons, that's not true. You can get it from the random enemies, you can get it from the old Kandoria, but it has to be in Kandoria still. It still have to be in Kandoria. All of that in Kandoria. So make sure you defeat everything there is there. You don't have to defeat like small enemies that do not drop items anyways. You do have to be enemies that drop items as well. So if it didn't drop an item, that means that it did not work. So just wanted to mention that going forward before we end all that. So let's just give it back to previous Wahoo. I would say, but it's more of the method of getting it. It's just very simple, so I love simple methods, right? But this one we are going to get from Kandoria. So we got 2 dragons in Kandoria now. The dragon, you know, we are used to, I covered way back in the day, like very old dragon. Also a side note to that one is that it does not scale extra fragments for that Kandoria dragon now that we have U10 and U11. So just go U9 if you want to hunt this dragon, the old Kandoria dragon. And also it doesn't scale with the new one, and the new one is this one right here, the puffed dragon fragments. That's the new one. It doesn't scale. I tried to do some Kandoria in Uber level 2 and also 9, and there was no difference to how many fragments I got. I always got only 1. How you do it and how you obtain it is that you get them very rarely from dungeons. Very simple. Just go out there, do some dungeons, maybe just look for the other dragon as well. So it doesn't matter. It does, you know, scale, of course, with Dragon Day. So if you do have non-patron, it's 2 times the chance of getting one, or 3 times as well for the patron. But it's not. You're not going to get more fragments. You're just going to get bigger chance of getting it. So it's not going to be the same as it is for the, you know, the other dragons, you know, the ones like the other Kandorian dragon, right? That scales with like getting 5 fragments on non-Friday and then 10 on there. So you can obtain the dragons, you know, very fast if you have Patreon, the old ones. But this one, do not scale with any other thing. So you're only going to get 1 fragment. That's at least how I tried to get a fragment both on you know, non-Friday, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but at least you are getting, you know, you're just getting a bigger chance of getting one when you defeat a dungeon and open that chest in the end, and then you are gonna rarely find one of these fragments. So if you're new, just go out there, maybe look for some Kandoria if you're looking for the other dragon as well, and just farm some dungeons in Kandoria area, and eventually you are gonna get all the fragments right here. I will be doing some farming. I'll probably, when I, you know, use some Patreon, I have some Patreon lying around, and I'll try to do all of these here, but I don't think 3 times the chance is gonna up the chance that much. I didn't seem like a big difference from having not being Friday and being Friday. You know, it's a double chance, but still, I don't think it was that much as anyway. But if you are not interested, I can see right here. If you're not interested in actually going out there to hunt it, I would very suggest that you go hunt it and do not Golden Dragon effigy. But it is a legendary dragon. I know my big face is in the way here, but it is under the legendary dragon. Raymon right here is under the, as you can see, if I scroll all the way up, legendary dragon. So you can use a Golden Dragon effigy on it if you want to do so. But I think it's going to be like the fragments are not going to drop very, it's going to be not super rare, but a little bit rare. But I don't think it's rare enough for you to, like, I'm already on 12 fragments and I haven't actually been doing that much. So I think you can get this knocked out on a Friday or maybe 2 Fridays. So a Golden Dragon effigy for this one would be a little bit of an overkill. There's definitely other ones you should definitely use them on as well. So yeah, Raymond here, the fragments, do dungeons in Kandoria. And that's it. Very simple, very easy. And with that said, we can move on to the next dragon. All right, so the next dragon we got is a little bit, not much harder, but a little bit more difficult to obtain. At least that's how I feel about it. And it is the 5-star dragon. So 5-star dragon, the new biome, that's not the old dragon, or not the old dragon, the old biome. That is where you are going to obtain these fragments from the boss level. So there's not a boss level every time you do a 5-star dungeon in the new uplands. Not in the geotopside. It's not the 5-star dungeons in the geotopside. It is in the new biome. As you can see, I have 1 fragment. So I think it is going to be 1 fragment per boss. So it's a random drop. It's not always guaranteed. I wish it was a little bit more guaranteed because, I don't know. But it is Friday though right now, so we do have a double chance when we do defeat a boss to get the fragment. And I didn't open the chest, I didn't have any keys, I was just doing the boss levels and stuff like that to try and to get those crystal things that we need right now for a bunch of stuff. So it's from the boss itself, so you don't have to open anything when you have defeated the boss. But yeah, you just go to the new biome. It can be in anywhere, actually. You know, it can be U7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But it doesn't seem like a bigger chance if you go anywhere. So I would, if you're really hunting this one, I would just go here to 7. Because that's where there's most of this biome. And that's also where there's going to be most 5-star dungeons. So you just go there, do the different floors, the different waves, as it actually called. And then some of them are going to be boss. And when you do that, you are going to obtain these fragments. So pretty simple, but when I said it was a little bit more difficult, is that, you know, you do have to first of all find the 5-star dungeon, right? And then you have to defeat all the waves, and it's not a guarantee to get it on, you know, every single boss that you do. I think the drop chance should be a little bit better, but again, I didn't get this one on Friday. And so I didn't have the double chance, and I of course don't have Patreon right now, so I didn't have the triple chance. So maybe the triple chance is gonna be okay, but the thing with this one is that you cannot Golden Dragon effigy it. So that's not where you have to go. But down here, it's one of the Acedral's dragons, if that's what it's called. It is right down here. So at this point, when it might change in the future. It might change in the future. They have done so in the past, like also moving some of the PvP dragons into the legendary. But you cannot use a golden dragon effigy on this one as this moment. The stats are not crazy. It's just 5 jumps, so it's not. But it's more the 50 magic find. We're kind of, but. You can't golden dragon effigy it. I was hoping you could, because I would do that, because I think it's just a little bit more complicated, and I think I will end up, of course, getting 100 fragments over time, but I don't know. The way of farming it is just not my cup of tea, but now you know how you get it. Just go to, the new biome, find some 5-star dungeons, and then do boss wave after boss wave when it is there, and there's a random chance. Again, I didn't know if I mentioned this, but I didn't open the chest after the boss was dead, so I got it just from the boss itself, so you don't have to worry about getting keys and stuff like that, opening the chest and stuff like that. So just go in there, defeat the boss at the wave, and then get it. And like I said, can't golden dragon effigy it as this moment, but it might change in the future, so keep your eyes out if it goes into the legendary tab instead of being right here. You can also see this PvP dragon is here, but they did move some of the other 2 PvP dragon into here, so you could use golden dragon effigies to get those ones. So they might change in the future that we can actually golden dragon effigy this one here, but as of right now you can't do that right now. So make sure you go out there and farm this dragon. There's also 250 mastery in it, so it's not terrible just because of the stats just being 5 jumps. But that's it. Go out there to the new biome, find 5-star dungeons, keep doing it. Hopefully maybe on a Friday, or if you have some patron in there, that would be a good idea as well. But that was this dragon. Let's move on to the next ones. Alright, so the next dragons, and yes, I said dragons with an S, plural. The next 2 dragons are sort of similar in a way of getting them, so I'm just going to put them together, because all else you basically see the same footage twice, sort of, just with a little bit of a variance, but it's sort of almost the same. And that's in 2 of the new dragons, and that's the ones, if you've seen the new biome, there's basically a top layer and a bottom layer, and basically one dragon is to the other one. But it is a little bit more complicated than it is usually, or usually is, but it is a little ways to get it, and I explain how you are going to get it. But we are going to start at the Dragon Crucible. You can see this is the Forge one, and it is also the other one, I guess the golden one I can call it. So these 2 are basically, the golden one is the top layer, the bottom one is the bottom one, the other one is the bottom layer, basically. So that's how you are basically going to obtain them from each layer. But I'm going to explain how you are going to do that. So these are the 2 different fragments. And let's move into actually the club. All right, so we are now in the club. You can actually also do this in your cornerstone, just making sure you know that. But we are in the club, we're in the Club Wahoo. And why are we here, you might be wondering? Well, just because we got these 3 benches. Well, also this is the bench that is from itself, but this one, and this one. And why are these important? Well, these are important because if you use 3 of these Sunder Charged crystals, you are going to get yourself a buff, as you can see, and it says an hour. So you get an hour buff, and you use this, and then you go. This is, of course, for you can see this, the more golden bench, I guess you can call it. You go and you first you activate this buff, and you get a little buff for an hour, and then you can go to the top layer, and then you have to defeat admirals. That's what, not emeralds, admirals. And they basically, what they look like is that they have like a giant hammer, so it's like sort of the ones that are in the sky world. But it just look for enemies that has a big hammer, and those are going to be the ones you are going to defeat, and that is how you're going to get for the one dragon, for the basically top layer dragon. So and it will be empowered. So basically, if you go there, you are going to defeat it, and then as you can see, if they are below 75 health, so you do have to hit him like 100% basically, and then they get empowered. That will do more damage, get new attacks and stuff like that, and it will always drop a fragment if you defeat it in U11, as it says right here. So if you want to do this, if you can go U11, you are guaranteed to get yourself a fragment. So you only have to kill 100 of these in an hour to basically get one of these. And I don't think it scales with dragons or patron. I'll have to test that in the future. But anytime you are doing something with dragons, it's always going to be best to do it on Dragon Day. Like it is the same thing with Gem Day, right? You always do it on gems on Gem Day. Same thing with dragons, always do it on a Friday. Hunt dragons on Fridays with patron or without patron. Always go for that. It's always going to be much easier to do so. And of course that was for let's just click all that's of course for the top layer, and then of course you got the one from the bottom layer. Same deal, just for the bottom layer as well, and also the same thing with this one. But the thing is, why is there two when it also, well, why is there 3 benches basically? Well, that's because you can get 2 buffs, because there is 2 chances of getting these, and it's basically the same thing. You know, you find these devourers. They're basically like big hell bugs and stuff like that, with it's sort of like a spider sort of thing. You can see them when they're in there, and again they will also be empowered, get new attacks and stuff like that, and also guaranteed to get yourself a fragment if you do that in U11. But there's also these other ones, there's basic blast flowers. They look like the ones that are in Delve Caves. If you've seen those, explode, and if you have this buff as well, it can do so as well. And it will be basically spawn an empowered treasure. So it's not the flower itself, but it's a thresher, or I think that's how it's called. So it is also not always guaranteed. You basically go to the flower, it will explode. It will have a chance at the thresher. If you get the thresher, that will be empowered, and then that will have new attacks and stuff like that, like just like the other one. But it's guaranteed to also give you a fragment if you are in U11. So basically, you should have both buffs when you're running. If you're going for the bottom dragon, if you're going for the top, you only got this one to worry about, basically. But you can also just, if you only have charges enough for one of them, you can just go for one of them. That there's a lot more blast flowers than there is devours, I feel like, but it's not a guarantee when you have a blast flower that you're gonna get the thresher. So I don't know if one is better than the other. I would just go with both, so you can just go and hit both of them, and that will just, you know, get yourself that. That's why I think that's why it was like a little bit more complicated getting, you know, these dragons besides the other ones, because first of all, you do have to get the benches. These drop from actually the enemies that are there, but you can also go ahead and if I go empower, if I can spell empower, like that, empower, you can see the benches are right here, but you can also go to just slash Club Wahoo or join world Club Wahoo, basically slash join world Club Wahoo with the spaces and stuff. If you're on PC, that is, you can go here and you can basically get yourself just the buffs from here if you don't want to buy the benches. But like I said, these can be placed in your cornerstone if you want to do so. It's not super expensive, and they will drop even more in price because they're all just going to drop from all these enemies. And I've sold a bunch of them. I actually bought these for a very high price because I just wanted them so bad for the video. But you should definitely go and get yourself these, and they are all of them right here. There's also some trophies, also of course not work, but you get the benches. But if you don't want to buy them and put you in your cornerstone, you can just use the ones in Club Wahoo if you want to do so, and you can get yourself the buffs and start farming these ones. And like I said, they last for an hour. Each buff lasts for an hour, so don't get them all 3 at the same time. I would suggest you go either one of them, because then you can just focus on going on the bottom one or on the top one. So that's it. Farm the benches if you want to, or use these, buy them off the marketplace, get the buffs, and then go out there and defeat the enemies. So you can basically see when you basically just run around and hit everything, and then you will understand which ones are going to be empowered and which ones are going to drop it as well. But if you go U11, you know, you are guaranteed to get that. I'm not sure if you get more than 1 fragment, but you're at least guaranteed to get 1, and then you just have to defeat 100 of them in an hour. So I'm pretty sure it can be knocked out pretty quickly, to be honest. If you were guaranteed 100 enemies in an hour is not that difficult. They are not super common, but I don't think they're super rare either. So get out there, get yourself the dragons, and that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was the all 4 new dragons. Again, these 2 were squished together if you missed that one. But anyways, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!